Um, and I often ask myself that question, and recently I've been coming to understand that it's really because for me fundamentally I do begin with music, and in music and sound, sound is not anything without movement, because sound waves move, they emit, and they move through materia, and the frequencies are about how fast they're moving and so on. And I think at the basis of all sound is movement. The person that I sort of pay most attention to in thinking about music at the moment is the composer Carla Scaletti, a creator of a music system called Symbolic Sound. And she definitely thinks in this way, and I remember a recent Kima conference where she said just to imagine the sound in outer space, if sound could travel through a vacuum, but that there's these huge objects in motion in the cosmos constantly, all the time, and can you imagine the sort of sounds that makes? And I really like this thought that it's about movement. Sound is emitted because things move from the atomic level to all the way up to dances. Then things get more complicated when you begin with sound and then you step to music as a kind of subset of sound, because music is really organized sound. And within that I'm dedicated to electronic music, electroacoustic music, which is a particular type of music because it's only possible through technology. It was only imagined before the technology that could make it came about. And this is an important point because it's a very young art form, and a very young, let's say 50, 60 years before the technology was even developed to be able for composers to make the sounds that they were imagining. This is quite an important point to remember, because I think the musicians were the first, perhaps photographers, but the first artists to entirely embrace technology, and not because they thought it was cool, which is these days sometimes it comes down to, but because it was a way to, the technology empowered the composers to reach into the future in some way, based on the visions that they were being obsessed with, which is there is a possibility of sound. I mean, we could go through music history of the 20th century a little, and there was a point where composers were imagining more than what they could actually do, and electronic instruments, computers specifically,